You gotta go, bro. You gotta go.
Yeah. Whoa.
This is Darisha Bailey Vaught, a 17-year-old from Rochester, Minnesota. What happened next would change these young lives forever and shake this small community to its core. It all started at 1:20 a.m. on Sunday, July 16th, at Lakeside Veterans Memorial Park in Forest Lake. What began as tension between two groups of young people boiled over into a violent confrontation. Witnesses say both sides were armed, some with baseball bats, hammers, and a crowbar. Prosecutors say 20-year-old Dylan Simmons was playing hacky sack with friends at the park that night when he sent a text message to Devin Bailey Vaught telling him to come to the park to fight. A conflict between Simmons and Vaught and their respective friend groups had been brewing for about 2 years. Vaught arrived in a vehicle, while Simmons and a passenger exited his vehicle wielding hammers. Vaught and his friend were also armed with a baseball bat and a folding knife. A witness would later tell jurors, both sides up to this point were in the wrong. As the fight starts to wind down, Simmons and a friend head back to his car, a white Mazda sedan. Simmons drives toward the crowd, narrowly missing the group standing just inches away. He crashes into the rear of Vaught's vehicle, nearly running over someone's foot and brushing against someone else's leg. Simmons backs up and accelerates again, this time hitting Vaught's sister, 17-year-old Darisha, driving over her with both front and rear tires before speeding away. Now, for the first time, we bring this exclusive footage to the public from 3 perspectives.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Darisha.
I got them on camera!
You gotta go, bro. You gotta go.
Moments later, police and paramedics arrive. They rush to provide emergency medical aid to Darisha as she lies in the parking lot.
Forest Lake 3434, the RP is not with the group, it's only seeing it from a distance. Female is not breathing. RP didn't see what direction the vehicle left. It's still focused on the person.
Copy.
That's crazy.
Copy, just looking for you got him else in row.
Nonsense.
Copy, we have them in row.
Forest Lake 3434, CPR in progress.
Man, that's sad.
No, please. Oh, please.
Stay with me.
Here, I'm gonna switch out with you, okay?
Despite their efforts, she had multiple fractures and a traumatic head injury. Darisha died at the scene shortly after rescue crews arrived. A medical examiner later ruled her death was a homicide.
17.
Simmons and his passenger quickly drove away, but they didn't get far. The passenger called someone still at the scene who was speaking with an officer. They convinced Simmons to return back to the scene. Simmons eventually drove back and turned himself in, and admitted to officers that he knew he'd struck the victim. This surveillance camera video gave prosecutors the evidence they needed to upgrade Simmons' charges to second-degree murder, with 3 counts of second-degree assault added to the case.
A family in Forest Lake is grieving the loss of a 17-year-old girl.
Police say that someone intentionally hit and killed her during a fight at a park this weekend. 20-year-old Dylan Simmons appeared in court for the first time today after Washington County prosecutors charged him with third-degree murder and vehicular homicide.
Simmons' trial started in December 2024, but it wasn't long before tensions turned the quiet courthouse into chaos. 2 families, one seeking justice, the other claiming innocence. During the first day of the trial, both sides shouted at each other outside the courtroom and a hole was punched in the wall. With the fighting continuing over lunch at a Carboni's Pizza near the courthouse.
I just want him to pay for his crime. Like, he's admitting that he hit her. but he's not admitting that he did it on purpose.
He's right. Despite prosecutors saying Dylan Simmons intentionally tried to hit people with his car, killing Bailey Vath, Simmons' mother is speaking out for the first time, saying her son is a good kid and did not mean to hit her.
Well, first and foremost, I want to start out by saying that our hearts and prayers go out to Darisha's family, the Bailey Vath family. They've suffered a tremendous loss. I'm not saying I don't think he should do any time. I think what I'm saying is he's not a murderer. What they're trying to throw at him is crazy to me.
The two groups had been fighting. Waldo says her son was terrified when it was all unfolding at Lakeside Veterans Memorial Park.
His car was surrounded by multiple kids beating on the car with a bat. He freaked out. He was scared. He put it in drive. There was people in front of the car and some jumped out of the way, and unfortunately she didn't. And like I said, it's so sad. I think he should do what's just and fair, which is not 32 years, not his life. Like, I just don't.
But as far as prison time, how long is enough?
I want him to do the rest of his life because we lost a life. He should spend the rest of his life in prison.
After a 5-day trial, the jury reached its verdict. Simmons was found guilty of second-degree murder without intent, and he was acquitted of the charge of second-degree murder with intent. Jurors found him guilty of criminal vehicular homicide and 3 counts of second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon. Simmons remains jailed in Washington County ahead of his sentencing, set for March 20th, 2025. A judge will ultimately determine Simmons' fate. He is facing up to 40 years in prison. For Darisha's family, the verdict brought a measure of justice, but they still feel the pain of her loss. This part of their legal battle may be over, but the scars of that night remain.
My daughter is gone. I'm never gonna see her again. I'm never gonna be able to hold her. I'm not gonna see her graduate.
Now they can only remember a young woman who was excited to graduate high school next spring with big dreams of becoming a veterinarian.
I miss her so much. I miss her so much. I miss my best friend and my baby sister so much.
It's hard for me to feel bad for any of them. I mean, as the old saying go, man, I know you heard it before, nothing good comes after midnight. They all out there well after hours. And as good as they talk about the daughter, I mean, you see the activity she's involved in. So we can't ignore that. I can honestly feel both sides. I can see one trying to claim somewhat of a self-defense. He was in fear. Like I said, the only thing that kind of crushed that to me was the video recording that they were able to capture from inside of them. I mean, you can clearly hear one or both of them laughing, one telling him, hey, we gotta get, so they knew what was going on and they were fully aware. I don't think he was intending on killing, harming or unaliving any one of them. You can claim he was probably in somewhat of a fear. I mean, it was a lot of them surrounding the car. I mean, and in a self-defense situation, at some stage, you can use your vehicle for, self-defense. So, I mean, but again, like I say, seeing the footage that got from the inside and seeing the laughter and stuff like that, that kind of like throws that whole case out to me. He was fully aware. Should he do time? Yeah, of course. I mean, it was nonsense. And then on the other side, I mean, I get it, man. You just lost a daughter. Like I say again, look at the activity she's partaking in. She shouldn't have been out there at that. That's why I say it's kind of hard for me to really feel bad just looking at it from both sides. It was nonsense. It was goofy. Y'all all out here, doing stuff that shouldn't have been done, fighting out after hours for what, Again, goofy. RIP to the young lady that lost her life. That was tragic. Like I say, again, nonsense. RIP to her. That didn't have to happen. There's multiple ways, like I say, but again, nothing good happens after midnight. Y'all always gotta remember that, man. And man, y'all already know how it go, man. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Peace.
Yeah. Whoa.